There is a sacred moment, quiet, yet vast, when a soul remembers, not who they were, not what they've done, but what they are. A moment when the noise of the world fades, and a single phrase, simple and eternal, emerges from the silence. I am. These two words hold the power to create, to destroy, to heal, and to awaken. They are not just affirmations. They are the language of the divine, spoken from the center of all existence. This is not just a video. It's a remembering of your true nature, a remembering of the power that lives not above you, not beyond you, but within you. Over the next 2 hours, you will be guided through a journey, sacred, grounded, and vibrational, that reveals the hidden architecture of reality. We will walk together through the mystery of I am, not as a concept, but as a living force, a path, a presence. And if you choose to stay, to open, to feel, you may never speak those words the same way again. Chapter 1. The origin of I am. Before the first thought, before the first sound, before the first breath that shaped a world, there was I am. Long before languages were born, before prayers were spoken or beliefs constructed, this vibration echoed in the fabric of the cosmos. I am, not as identity, but as existence itself. It is the eternal flame that Moses saw in the burning bush when he asked the name of God. And the voice replied, I am that I am. Not a title, not a role, but being. The I am is not something you become. It's what you are, beneath your name, your past, your future, your form. And yet, somehow, we forget. We lose ourselves in labels and roles, wrapped in identities that shrink us. We say things like, I am tired, I am lost, I'm not enough, unaware that with each word, we are programming the architecture of reality. Because what follows, I am, becomes your command to the universe. This is not metaphor. This is law. In spiritual traditions across time, from the Upanishads of India to the Gnostic texts of early mysticism, the truth was always the same. The I am is divine. To say, I am, is to activate the creative force of the universe. It is the doorway through which the invisible becomes visible. The unseen becomes form. The formless becomes experience. The mystics didn't say pray to a God out there. They said, be still and know that I am. It is the name of God in you, not in arrogance, but in sacred recognition. So let me ask you now, how do you speak of yourself? Do you build with your words, or do you fracture? Every time you say, I am broken, I am nothing, I am cursed, you are not describing a condition. You are decreeing a reality. But when you say, I am whole, I am clarity, I am light in motion, you awaken the original blueprint within you, the one that has never been touched by pain, time, or doubt. You speak as a creator, not a victim. You return to your throne. This is the first truth of power. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who names them. You are not your body. You are the one who says, I am in this body for now. You are not your trauma. You are the one who says, I am the light beyond all wounds. When you use I am unconsciously, it becomes a curse. But when you speak it with presence, with intention, with reverence, it becomes a spell of liberation. This is why every transformation begins with a single shift. Speak only what you want to live, because when you say it, you send ripples through the field. You issue instructions to the infinite, and the cosmos, vast and vibrating, begins to rearrange itself to match your decree. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now the Word is in you, and it begins the same way. I am. Chapter 2. The Law of the Sacred Word. In the beginning was the Word. Not a sentence, not a sound, but a vibration, a pure frequency, encoded with intention. This word did not emerge from a mind. It came from the depth of presence. It was sacred because it was aware of itself. And that is the secret. A word becomes sacred not because of what it means, but because of where it comes from. When a child says, "I'm scared," it draws the experience of fear closer. When a seeker says, "I'm lost," the path becomes hidden. But when a soul stands still and declares, "I am peace," the chaos begins to retreat, because the word is a wand, not a fantasy, but a frequency. And every word, spoken with presence, etches reality into the invisible clay of the universe. This is the law of the sacred word. You do not speak to describe the world. You speak to shape it. Your tongue is not a tool of observation. It is a tool of creation, and you use it every day, often without knowing what you build, what you burn, what you bind. But once you remember, once you see, you cannot go back. Let me ask you something gently, with love. What have you been calling into your life with your words? What spells have you cast without even realizing? "I'm tired of everything. I'm always alone. I never win." These are not complaints. They are commands. And the universe, faithful and responsive, says, "As you wish." Because it's not just what you feel. It's not just what you want. It's what you speak repeatedly that writes your script. But when you pause, when you return to the altar of your own breath, and you say, "I am rising. I am ready. I'm no longer who I was," the universe listens. The field shifts. Light rushes in to meet your frequency. This is not positive thinking. This is vibrational law. It is older than scripture and deeper than science. The ancient mystics in Egypt knew it. The Essenes, the Vedas, the Toltecs all understood. The word is creative fire. Speak with clean hands and a quiet heart. So how do you begin to speak sacredly? You slow down. You speak from stillness. You treat words like seeds, each one carrying a harvest you may one day walk through. You do not curse your life with sarcasm. You do not mock your body with judgment. You do not degrade your journey with complaint. Because now you know, the word creates form. Sacred speech is not loud. It doesn't beg or boast. It whispers truth, and that whisper moves mountains. To say, "I am healing," is to invite the intelligence of the body to open its rivers. To say, "I am ready," is to become a beacon for aligned opportunity. To say, "I am loved," even when you feel forgotten, is to pull love through the veil and anchor it here. Even your "thank you" becomes a spell. It tells the field, "I see the gift. Multiply it." This is spiritual alignment through language. This is how you return to your throne, not by force, but by word-shaped faith. And when the inner world aligns with the outer word, miracles become natural. Not because the universe favors you, but because now you favor yourself. You no longer contradict your soul. You no longer mock your prayers. You speak like someone who has seen the sacred blueprint and chooses to live by it. Pause here with me. Let's breathe this in. Inhale gently. Hold. And as you exhale, say softly, "I am." Again, not to ask, not to pretend, but to remember. Speak not just to be heard. Speak to be true. To yourself. To life. To the one that breathes through all of it. And as your words begin to return to their rightful power, a new life unfolds, word by word, decree by decree. So let the sacred law guide your tongue. Speak only what you wish to become. Bless what you wish to grow. And if the sentence begins with "I am," let it be a bridge into the life you were born to live. Chapter 3. The thought is seed. Before the word is spoken, before the lips move or the breath vibrates, there's a spark, a thought, subtle, silent, potent, a flicker within the field of consciousness, a seed suspended in invisible soil. And like every seed, it carries within it a world. This is the sacred architecture of creation. Every life is built on thought. Every path, every wound, every miracle begins in the unseen garden of the mind. We are not victims of random fate. We are gardeners of consciousness. And the thoughts we entertain are not harmless. They are blueprints. They are prayers in disguise. They are the first whispers of the world we will one day walk in. You've heard it said, as you think, so you are. But it's more than a proverb. It's a spiritual law. Thought is energy, and energy, once focused, becomes form. If you plant fear, you grow limitation. If you plant doubt, you grow distance. If you plant love, you grow expansion. It doesn't matter whether you believe in this. The soil does not ask if the seed was planted on purpose. It only knows how to grow what is given. So pause for a moment. What are you giving your inner soil today? Do your thoughts reflect the truth of your soul, or the noise of your past? Are you nurturing beliefs that set you free, or ones that subtly close the door? Many carry thoughts like, I can't trust anyone. Nothing ever works out for me. Maybe I'm just not meant to be happy. These are not just private thoughts. They are frequency signatures broadcasted into the quantum field. And the field, always listening, begins to shape reality around them. Not as punishment, but as reflection. Understand this clearly. Thought is not passive. It is magnetic. It attracts emotions to match its frequency. It influences the words that follow. It stirs the actions we take. A single thought can anchor an entire destiny. But the good news is, so can a better one. The mind is not your enemy. It's your instrument. But an untuned instrument creates distortion. Only when brought into harmony can it channel truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses which thoughts to feed. You are the one who decides which seed shall live, which shall be pulled by the root, and which shall be replaced by something sacred. Let's return to the garden. Every morning, your consciousness is like moist, open soil. Whatever you think, especially upon waking, takes root more deeply. This is why the sages of old taught, guard the first thoughts of the day as you would guard a newborn child. Because the thoughts you begin with, they ripple, they bloom through your words, they infuse your actions, they echo into others, and they magnetize matching events into your life. So what if you began your day with, I am safe, I am open to receive, I am aligned with divine timing? What if these became the seeds you planted, again and again, until your inner garden changed shape entirely? This is not fantasy. This is spiritual discipline, sacred reconditioning, returning the mind to its rightful role. A temple, not a trap. And when unwanted thoughts arise, as they always do, you do not need to fear them. You simply recognize them as old seeds blowing in the wind, trying to take root again in a place you've already cleared. Don't fight them. Don't fear them. Don't feed them. Just see them, bless them, and return to what is true. I'm not this fear. I am the presence that watches it pass. This is the power of inner stewardship. It's not about never thinking negatively. It's about refusing to water weeds. And over time, as this practice deepens, you begin to notice something miraculous. Your mind softens. Your reactions change. Your inner world becomes less of a battlefield, more of a sanctuary. And in that sanctuary, creation becomes effortless, because now your thoughts support your word, and your word aligns with your soul. The thought is the seed. The word is the water. The emotion is the sun. The action is the harvest. It all begins within, and what begins within becomes the world you live in. So today, choose your thoughts with love. Let your inner garden be a place of beauty, of power, of truth. Think in a way that honors who you're becoming. Think in a way that feeds the life you desire. And above all, think as one who remembers. I am the seed. I am the soil. I am the light that calls it to bloom. Chapter 4. The emotion as water. A seed alone cannot grow. It may hold potential. It may carry divine design. But without water, it remains silent in the soil. In the same way, your thoughts, your sacred I am declarations, mean nothing unless they are felt. Emotion is the activator, the elemental water that softens the shell of thought and invites it to awaken. To feel is not a weakness. To feel is to create. Emotion is not a byproduct. It is a sacred ingredient. the current that carries your intentions. Into the river of manifestation. You see, your thoughts send signals, but your emotions generate frequency. Thought is blueprint. Emotion is electricity. Without emotion, your thought is static, dry potential. But when charged with feeling, that same thought becomes living vibration, and the universe begins to respond in kind. Imagine this. Two people speak the same words. One says, "I am love," but feels unworthy, resentful, afraid. The other says, "I am love," with tenderness in the chest, softness in the breath, and a quiet certainty in the heart. Which one speaks into creation? Which one activates the field? Which one bends reality? The universe is not reacting to your lips. It is responding to your frequency. And your frequency is shaped, moment by moment, by the emotions you allow to move through you. Here is the sacred truth. Your emotion is not an enemy. It is a messenger, a signal, a compass. Even sadness, even anger, even fear, each one carries wisdom. Each one is trying to water something unseen inside you. But most of us were taught to fear feeling, to numb it, judge it, push it down and bury it. But what we bury doesn't disappear. It grows roots in the dark. It seeps into our words. It colors our actions. It becomes the lens we look through until we see the whole world in shadow. So what if instead of running, you turned and said, "Come in, anger. Show me where I abandon my truth. Welcome, sorrow. Show me what still needs healing. Hello, joy. Thank you for reminding me what's real." This is emotional alchemy. You don't repress. You don't react. You transform. You feel fully. And in doing so, you reclaim your power. Emotion is movement. When it flows, it heals. When it stagnates, it hardens. And hardened emotion becomes the blocks we feel in our energy, in our relationships, in our manifestations. But when you allow emotion to move, you become like the river, alive, pure and free. This is why gratitude is so magnetic. Gratitude is not just a thought. It's a felt state, a frequency that saturates every cell of your being. It tells the universe, "I have already received," and the universe responds, "Then let me give you more." This is also why anxiety is so destructive. Anxiety is the feeling of lack rehearsed in advance. You project fear forward and then wonder why peace can't find you. But peace is not something you earn. It's something you feel. And when you feel it, before anything changes, everything begins to shift. Because now, you're watering the future you desire, not the one you fear. So the question becomes, what emotions are you watering your thoughts with? Were you soaking into the roots of your inner world? Are you bathing your affirmations in love? Or in desperation? Are you feeling joy in your prayers? Or tension? It's not about being perfect. It's about being present, honest, available, open. The I am becomes powerful not when it's loud, but when it's felt. I am healed, whispered with real faith, is more powerful than shouting, "I need a miracle." I am abundance, breathed with trust, is stronger than hours of worry disguised as hard work. The difference is emotional truth. And emotional truth creates alignment. So today, let emotion return to its rightful place. Let be your water, not your storm. Let it soften you, not shatter you. Let it carry your thoughts to the heart of the divine. And from that heart, may your life bloom in ways no mind could ever plan. Remember, the seed without water remains a dream, but the seed watered with sacred feeling becomes a living reality. So feel with depth, feel with trust, feel with reverence. For in every feeling, you are writing the story of what comes next. Chapter 5, the sacred word revisited. And then, the word is born, not merely spoken, but breathed with presence, the fusion of thought and feeling, delivered into the air by sound. The word is the final step of the invisible becoming visible. the unseen blueprint crystallizing into vibrational form. This is not just speaking, this is spelling. Because when you speak with consciousness, you are casting spells of creation. In ancient temples, the priest didn't shout. He whispered, because the ancients understood, power doesn't need volume. It needs alignment. When a mind is clear, when the emotion is alive, and when the word is spoken with full presence, the universe listens. And more than that, it obeys. This is why your voice is sacred, not because of how it sounds, but because of what it carries. Every syllable vibrates through your body, through your space, through the field that surrounds you. And the field doesn't ask, did they mean it? The field only responds to what is spoken and felt. So when you say, I am overwhelmed, I am stuck, I am failing, you are anchoring those vibrations into your timeline. You are sending signals to matter, to energy, to form itself, and it responds, yes, so it is. But here is the miracle. You can change the spell. You can reclaim your tongue from old stories, from inherited wounds, from unconscious repetition, and you can begin to speak as one who remembers their origin. Let's be clear. This is not about positive thinking. This is vibrational authorship. You're not pretending. You're reclaiming. You're not faking a better mood. You are choosing to speak only what aligns with your highest self, your deepest truth. And when your words match your inner resonance, the world shifts. Try it now, not as a script, but as a soul. Say softly aloud, I am ready. Feel that. Now, I am here. Let that land. Now again, I am becoming who I've always been. Let echo. This is how we return power, not by force, not by control, but by vibrational clarity, by speaking only what is worthy of your future, by letting every word be a bridge to your becoming. You see, in the beginning, God didn't try to create. God spoke, let there be light, and there was light. This is not poetry. This is law. And so now, you are invited to speak the same way, not with doubt, not with apology, but with intention and integrity and depth. When you say, I am peace, you are not just asking for calm. You are activating peace within you and broadcasting that harmony into the field. When you say, I am love, you are not describing a hope. You are claiming your inheritance as one made of it. And when you say, I am abundance, you are not begging the universe for change. You are aligning with the frequency of what already exists. Speak it, even when you don't feel it yet. Speak it, even when the old voices try to argue. Speak it, even when no one else believes. Because your voice is not for convincing others. It is for aligning yourself. Here is the practice, the initiation. Only speak what you are willing to live. Let your word become your home. Let your decree shape your days. And when you say, I am, say it like the divine would, with stillness, with reverence, and with power. Try this rhythm. Repeat after me. I am not who I was. I am who I choose to become. I am not lost. I am listening. I am not waiting. I am already in motion. Let these be your mantras, your meditations, your music, because in the end, every sentence is a path, and the words you repeat become the road you walk. Choose them wisely, speak them lovingly, and let each word echo through the walls of your future. Because when thought becomes feeling, and feeling becomes word, the sacred fire of creation is ignited, and all that remains is the unfolding. Chapter 6. The aligned action. The seed has been planted. It has been watered by feeling, spoken into form by sacred word. Now must move, because creation does not end at declaration. It begins there. Your thoughts, your emotions, your words. They are the blueprint, but action is the builder. Without action, intention floats. Beautiful, powerful, but incomplete. Like a song never sung, a dance never danced, a life only imagined. But not all action is sacred. Not all motion is movement in truth. Struggle is not alignment. Frantic doing is not faith. And action taken from fear builds temples of anxiety. So we pause here to ask, what is aligned action? Aligned action is not forced. It is not driven by lack or urgency. It does not come from the mind's panic, but from the soul's knowing. It is stillness in motion, a natural step forward, a breath made visible, a truth that walks. To act in alignment with I am means to allow your deeds to match your declaration. If you say, I am abundance, but spend your day hoarding, fearing, shrinking, you create static in the field. If you say, I am peace, but speak in anger, move in haste, and carry resentment, your energy splits. And when energy splits, manifestation weakens. The universe is not confused. It does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to coherence. When your thought, feeling, word, and action all point in the same direction, you become a clear signal. You become a beacon, a tuning fork, a living prayer. So how do we walk in alignment? By asking not, what do I need to do to get what I want? But instead, what would the version of me who already has it do now? That version, your future self, your embodied soul, already knows. Aligned action often feels gentle. It's the inspired idea that arises in silence. The email you suddenly feel moved to send. The conversation your heart knows is overdue. The small, quiet step that changes everything. It is subtle, but powerful. It doesn't demand attention. It delivers resonance. This is the paradox of sacred manifestation. You do not act to receive. You act because you've already received. You act from fullness. You move as one who is already whole. And in that motion, the world must adjust. This is why even the smallest step can shift timelines. Because it's not about size. It's about alignment. A whisper spoken in truth is louder in the field than 1,000 words spoken in fear. Let your life be your affirmation. Let your gestures be your decree. Let your presence be your prayer. Every moment is a chance to walk your word, to live your light, to confirm what you've already claimed. And you said you were ready. Show it. And you said you're free. Move like it. You said you're love. Let your actions make that love real. This is the highest integrity. To live as what you have declared. To embody the I am. Not just in meditation, but in the marketplace, in the kitchen, in the conflict, in the mirror, when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when the old patterns knock at your door, and you say with your actions, not anymore. Let this be your mantra. I walk what I speak. I build what I believe. I move as one who remembers. I am that I am. Today, make your life a ceremony. Let each movement, even the ordinary, become an act of devotion. The way you breathe, the way you answer the phone, the way you open the door, the way you stand, sit, speak, and serve. Let it all carry the frequency of your truth. Because when the I am lives in your walk, not just your words, the path ahead becomes sacred ground. You were never meant to just speak magic. You were meant to walk it, to bring it into form, to shape the world with the weight of your presence. Let every step be a spell. Let every act be a portal. Let every choice be a brushstroke in the masterpiece of your becoming. You are not just the vision. You are the vessel. You are not just the affirmation. You are the answer. So take the next step, not in haste, not in fear, but in quiet power, because the I am is already walking, and it's walking through you. Chapter 7, the faith that holds it all. All things are created twice, once in the invisible and once in the visible. Between those two births, there is a gap, a space, a silence, and in that silence, faith is the bridge. Faith is not blind. It does not mean you stop thinking or seeing or feeling. Faith means that you now trust what cannot yet be seen. More than what your fear tells you is true. It is the vibration of certainty in a field that still appears uncertain. It is the still, calm center that whispers, I know. Faith is not something you build. It is something you remember. It is already within you, like a quiet flame beneath the noise, waiting to be chosen again. Faith is the element that turns waiting into preparation, that transforms doubt into devotion, that alchemizes delay into divine timing. Where belief hopes, faith lives. Where belief wishes, faith walks. This is the great truth. Faith is not passive. It is an active frequency, a choice, a decision made over and over again, to feel the absence and still declare, it is already mine, to see the void and still whisper, let there be light. But faith is not always easy. Let's honor that. There will be moments when the path darkens, when the evidence disappears, when your voice trembles and your steps falter. That is not failure. That is initiation. You're not being punished. You're being asked, will you trust your inner knowing or surrender to the fear of the unknown? Faith is not just for the mountaintop. It is most powerful in the valley, when nothing is blooming yet, when silence stretches long, when you plant your seed and wait, day after day, for the first green whisper of life. That is where faith is forged. You must understand, the universe is always listening, but also watches. It watches who you become while you wait. It listens for your consistency, your vibration, your devotion, because to embody faith is to say without words, I do not need proof to keep becoming. Faith is the womb of the miraculous, the open hands, the surrendered heart. It says, I am abundance, even before the money arrives. I am healed, even as the pain subsides. I am guided, even when the path is not yet clear. And that, dear soul, is how the universe responds. Not to demand, not to desperation, but to resonance. When you feel like the answer is already within you, the world rushes in to reflect it. When you live like the door is already open, you find yourself walking through it. When you speak as one who already holds the promise, you become a magnet for its fulfillment. Faith is not noise. It's not loud. It is the deep, warm silence that wraps around the seed in the soil and says, you are safe. Grow. It is the pause between breath, the stillness between heartbeat, the waiting without anxiety. It is the knowing that God is in motion, even when you are not. But here's the mystery. Faith grows the more it is used. The more you trust, the more you see. And the more you see, the less you need to explain. Faith becomes your frequency. And from that frequency, life bends. So speak your I am with faith. Move with faith. Wait with faith. Hold with faith. Let faith be the current beneath every thought, the breath behind every word, the root beneath every step. Because you are not waiting for life to begin. It has already begun inside you. And when you hold faith long enough, you realize the manifestation is not the miracle. The faith was. Let this be your prayer. Even when I cannot see it, I know it's real. Even when I do not feel it, I remain open. Even when I feel alone, I remember, I am never alone. I am the faith that holds the flame. And so we close this first circle. You have planted the seed with thought. You have watered it with feeling. You have spoken it into being. You have walked it with action. And now, you hold it gently, silently, confidently, with faith. From this space, everything is born. Chapter 8, The Night Before the Bloom. Embracing the sacred darkness. Before every awakening, there is a silence, a pause, a darkness that does not punish, but prepares. This is what the mystics call the night before the bloom, the season of emptiness, the sacred disorientation. And though it feels like everything is falling apart, what's actually happening is that everything false is falling away. This is not failure. It is not regression. It is not a sign that something went wrong. It is the moment when the soul whispers, are you willing to become who you truly are? Even if it costs you everything that you are not. You may have felt it before. That ache. That space between what was and what has not yet come. The job ends. The relationship crumbles. The beliefs unravel. The path disappears beneath your feet. You look around and nothing is growing. You cry out and heaven is silent. You wonder, did I lose the light? But the truth is, you have not lost the light. You have stepped into the womb of transformation. The darkness is not the opposite of light. It is the ground from which light is born. Even the seed must break in the soil before it can reach for the sun. Even the caterpillar must dissolve before it becomes the sky. Even the night must fall before the bloom can rise. This is the sacred unraveling. It is not meant to break you. It is meant to reveal you. Because the old identity, the one built on performance, on protection, on past pain, cannot carry the weight of your destiny. And so it is stripped, not to punish, but to make room. In this night, the I am takes new meaning. No longer a tool for quick transformation, but a torch in the dark. You do not say, I am whole, because you feel whole. You say it because you are choosing wholeness, even in the absence of evidence. You do not say, I am guided because the path is lit. You say it because you trust that your feet know where to go, even when your eyes do not. This is not the faith of sunshine. This is the faith of sacred midnight. It is deeper, richer, stronger, because it is built not on certainty, but on surrender. You may ask, but why must we go through this? And the answer is tender, because you ask to remember who you truly are. And sometimes, to remember that everything else must be forgotten. This night teaches us what light never could. That stillness is not absence. That silence is not rejection. That emptiness is not failure. It is a clearing, a divine excavation, a soft invitation to return to the root. Do not fear the silence. Do not rush the dark. There is gold here. There is guidance here. The light you are waiting for is being forged within you. Every tear is watering the bloom. Every ache is breaking the shell. Every moment of not knowing is preparing the soil of your soul. So rest, beloved one. If you are here, in the night, in the stillness, in the ache, know this. You're not lost. You're not behind. You are not forgotten. You are in the center of sacred becoming. Let the dark hold you. Let strip what no longer fits. Let speak in silence. Let show you what is real. You do not need to force the bloom. You only need to trust the season. Because all flowers begin in darkness. This too is the I am. Not loud, not glorious, but raw, real, resolute. I am here. I am breathing. I am enough even now. And when the time comes, when the soil has shifted, and the root has anchored, and the old skin has fallen, the light will rise again. Not because you chased it, but because you became it. So stay, breathe, trust the night, because the bloom is already inside you, and it knows exactly when to rise. Chapter 9, The Divine Mirror. What if nothing is random? What if the person who challenged you most, the job you lost, the silence you feared, was never a mistake, but a mirror? A sacred reflection of something inside you, ready to be seen, healed, claimed. The mystics have always whispered, life is a mirror, not in metaphor, but in law. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are, and everything you encounter is not happening to you, but for your becoming. This is not a call to blame yourself for pain. It is an invitation to liberate yourself from victimhood. It is the shift from asking, why is this happening to me? To quietly wondering, what is this revealing in me? Every soul you meet, every circumstance you face, is a chance to see yourself more clearly, not as punishment, but as a tool of evolution. The friend who triggers your anger might be revealing the boundaries you never set. The partner who abandons you may be showing you where you once abandoned yourself. The job that drains you might be reflecting a belief that you must suffer to earn your worth. None of this makes you wrong. It makes you aware, and awareness is the first step to freedom. Because what is unconscious will always appear as fate, but once it becomes conscious, you reclaim your power. The mirror becomes a message, and the message becomes a key. Let's go deeper. When you say, I'm always attracting people who hurt me, you're not cursed. You're being shown a place within still longing for its own love. When you notice yourself judged, misunderstood, unseen, the mirror asks, do you judge yourself? Do you understand yourself? Do you see yourself clearly? It is not about blame. It is about resonance. What you vibrate within is what echoes without. And when the lesson is complete, the reflection changes. This is the secret of transformation. You don't need to fix the mirror. You only need to shift the image within. Change your inner I am. And the reflection responds, I am worthy. I am safe to be seen. I am aligned with love. Say it, live it, and life will echo it back. Even your greatest challenges are mirrors, not of failure, but of latent power. Sometimes life reflects not who you are, but who you're ready to remember. That's why certain patterns feel louder over time, because your soul is ready to shift them. This is the beauty of the mirror. It never lies, but it always evolves. And when you begin to treat life as sacred reflection, you no longer fight the world. You begin to partner with it. You ask, what is this showing me? What old belief is ready to be released? What new identity wants to be claimed? And then you rise, not in force, but in truth. This is also how compassion is born. Because once you realize that others are mirrors too, you stop taking their pain personally. You see their fear as a projection of their own wounds. You see their resistance as reflection of their own cages. And you respond not with defense, but with understanding. You stop needing to fix them, or change them, or prove yourself to them. You simply say, I see where I end, and you begin. I see what is mine to carry, and what is not. And from that place of clarity, you set down the burden of everyone else's stories. You begin to choose your reflection. Intentionally, you choose spaces that honor your expansion. You choose people who reflect your becoming. You choose work that mirrors your values. And when old mirrors no longer serve, you thank them and release them. Thank you for showing me who I no longer need to be. Thank you for waking up the part of me I forgot to love. This is sacred maturity. This is spiritual sovereignty. This is walking as one who no longer blames the glass, but blesses it, because now you know how to look. So today, whatever shows up in your world, pause. Don't rush to react. Don't run or resist. Ask, what does this reflect? What truth is this unlocking in me? What I am must be upgraded to shift this mirror. And then shift, gently, powerfully, deliberately, because life does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are willing to become. And when you become it, the mirrors all change. Not because life got easier, but because you got clearer. Chapter 10, The Law of Rhythm. Life moves like the ocean. It rises. It falls. It surges. It stills. And just like the tides, your life has its own sacred rhythm. There is a time for bloom, and there is a time for rest. A time to speak, and a time to listen. A time to move, and a time to be moved. But most of us were taught to fear the stillness, to chase perpetual progress, to always do, always produce, always push. We were not taught to trust the rhythm. We were taught to override it. And so we burn out. We break down. We lose touch with our timing. But the earth does not bloom all year. The moon does not shine full every night. Even a heart beats and rests. Beats and rests. This is not laziness. This is law, the law of rhythm. Everything that lives moves through cycles, expansion and contraction, inhale and exhale, ebb and flow. And when you resist the contraction, you reject the very soil that prepares you for your next bloom. Let's be clear. This rhythm is not linear. It is spiral. You return to familiar places, but from new levels of consciousness. You revisit old wounds, but with deeper wisdom. You pass through similar seasons, but you are no longer the same. This is sacred repetition, not punishment, but refinement. The law of rhythm teaches us patience. It reminds us that delay is not denial. It's alignment. It's timing. It's preparation. A flower does not bloom the moment it's planted. It roots. It rests. It waits for the sun to arrive. And you're no different. So many manifestations are lost, not because the I am was untrue, but because the timing was not honored. You plant the seed, you water it with feeling, you speak into the field, you take aligned action, and then you must wait, not in despair, but in expectant stillness. This is where the ego panics, because it doesn't trust the unseen. It wants control, it wants now, it wants proof, but the soul knows better. The soul whispers, trust the rhythm. The tide is not lost. It is simply out of sight. You are not being ignored. You are being calibrated. You are not behind. You are being aligned. When nothing is happening on the outside, much is happening within. Trust the season you're in. Honor the cycle. This means learning to rest without guilt, to be quiet without fear, to let things unfold without forcing their pace. Because what is forced becomes fragile, but what is birthed in rhythm becomes eternal. When you align with the rhythm, life becomes music. You feel the notes of timing. You move when the melody calls. You wait when the silence returns. And in that waiting, you are not passive. You are tuning. You are holding frequency, so that when the next wave comes, you are ready to ride it fully. Can you feel that? That shift from striving to trusting? That is rhythm returning to your field. Let this be your affirmation. I trust divine timing. I honor the sacred rhythm. I'm exactly where I need to be. And if you forget, because you will, just look to nature. No bird rushes its song. No tree forces its bloom. No moon apologizes for waning. They all trust the rhythm that holds them, and you're held by the same. So take a breath right now. Inhale deeply and exhale fully. Feel the rhythm in your body. Feel the cycles in your own becoming. You don't need to make anything happen today. You only need to align with the wave already rising beneath you. Because when you move with rhythm, you move in grace. And grace never arrives early, never comes late. Grace always arrives on time. Chapter 11. The protection of your field. Your energy is not invisible. It is not abstract. It is real. It is sacred architecture, shaping your experience moment by moment. And like any sacred space, it deserves to be honored, cared for, protected. This is your energetic field, the unseen temple around you. It holds your I am. It carries your intentions. It broadcasts your becoming. And it is your responsibility to guard its purity. This is not fear. This is wisdom. Because what you allow into your field can either nourish you or distort you. Just as a garden must be protected from weeds, your field must be protected from emotional interference, external projections, energetic drain, and vibrational noise. Every day, your energy interacts with the world, and not all energy is aligned with your becoming. Some will try to pull you back into the old version of yourself. Some will resist your evolution because it mirrors their own stagnation. Some will unknowingly or knowingly plant seeds of doubt, fear, or guilt, not because they are bad, but because they have forgotten themselves. And so, they project. That is why spiritual discernment is not judgment. It is preservation. You are not better than others, but you are becoming more aligned. And alignment requires clarity, boundaries, and intention. Ask yourself, who do I consistently feel drained around? What environments pull me out of presence? What voices am I allowing to shape my reality? What habits are leaking my frequency? These questions are not to isolate you. They are to liberate you. Because when you know what weakens your field, you reclaim the power to choose what strengthens it. Let's be clear. Protecting your field doesn't mean avoiding life. It means moving through life consciously. It means choosing your company with care. It means being mindful of your consumption, not just what you eat, but what you read, watch, listen to, and speak aloud. It means saying no, not to punish, but to preserve. And when something or someone enters your space that doesn't resonate, you don't have to react. You don't have to attack. You simply return to your center. You affirm your alignment. I'm not this energy. I am not this fear. I am not this projection. You don't absorb. You observe, and you stay rooted. This is energetic hygiene. Just as you cleanse your body, you cleanse your field. You take spiritual showers. You rest. You breathe. You unplug. You pray. You sit in silence. You call your power back to you daily. Try this practice softly now. Inhale. As you exhale, whisper, I call all of my energy back to me now. Again, inhale. Exhale. I call all of my energy back to me now. And now say, any energy that is not mine, I release it with love. Feel that shift. Feel your field realign. This is not performance. This is protection, because the I am must live in clean space. If the temple is cluttered, the voice of truth is muffled. If the waters are muddy, the reflection is distorted. So clear your space. Light your field. Anoint your energy with intention. Remember, you are not just protecting your energy for survival. You are protecting it for service, so that you can radiate with strength, so that you can walk with clarity, so that your presence can become a blessing to those around you. But you cannot pour clean water from a polluted well. You must guard your source. Let this be your spiritual code. I do not chase. I align. I do not defend. I discern. I do not contract. I anchor. I am a living field of light, and I keep it sacred. One final truth. The more powerful your vibration becomes, the more you must protect it, because your light will awaken what others have tried to keep asleep. And that is not your burden, but it is your cue to stand firm in love. Not every invitation is meant to be accepted. Not every reaction requires a response. Not every connection deserves access to your becoming. And that's okay. You are here to rise, to radiate, to serve, to speak I am into the world with clarity, frequency, and force. Guard that power, not with fear, but with devotion, because you're sacred ground, and it is time you treated yourself as such. Chapter 12, Service and Sacred Reciprocity. There comes a moment on the path when your healing becomes more than personal, when your awakening begins to overflow, when your inner light seeks to bless not only your life, but the lives around you. This is not ego. This is natural expansion, because love, when real, wants to be shared. Abundance, when aligned, wants to circulate. Truth, when embodied, wants to serve. You did not come here just to fix your life. You came to radiate light into the field of humanity. And this light is not something you perform. It is something you become, and then offer. Not to prove, not to please, but because you have more than enough. This is sacred reciprocity. It is the rhythm of the universe. What is received in love is meant to move in love. Just as the sun gives without depletion, and the tree gives fruit without demand, your soul was designed to be a channel, not a container. The I am reaches its highest truth when it stops asking, what can I get? And starts asking, how can I give? From this place, giving is not sacrifice. It is sacred flow. You give not because you are empty, but because you are overflowing. And the more you give from that place, the more you receive, because this universe is alive, and it responds to the current you carry. Give joyfully, and you become a magnet for joy. Offer peace, and you are wrapped in peace. Serve from alignment, and you are supported by unseen hands. This is not myth. This is vibrational law. But service is not martyrdom. It is not giving from guilt. It is not self-abandonment dressed as virtue. True service begins within. It honors your own light first. It gives from fullness. It respects boundaries, and it trusts the intelligence of timing. Sometimes, service looks like action. Sometimes it looks like stillness. Sometimes it is a word. Other times, a presence. You may never know the impact of a kind glance, a listening ear, a grounded silence. But the field knows. The soul receiving it knows. And the universe, always watching, echoes that energy back to you, multiplied. Your healing is not selfish. It is your gift to the world. Because when you stop projecting your pain, you stop perpetuating it. When you release fear, you stop vibrating chaos into the collective. When you remember who you are, you remind others who they are. You don't even need to say a word. Your frequency becomes your offering. You walk into a room, and the room softens. You speak truth, and something ancient stirs in the listener. You live with integrity, and others remember their own. This is how service begins, not by doing more, but by becoming more. Let this be your new prayer. May my presence serve the highest good. May my words build, not break. May my energy bring clarity, not confusion. May my life be a mirror of what's possible. And here's the grace in all of this. You don't need to wait to be perfect to serve. You don't need to be enlightened to be useful. You don't need to have it all figured out to make a difference. You just need to be real, present, available to love. That alone changes lives. Service isn't about saving others. It's about seeing others clearly, without judgment, without control. It's about trusting the wisdom in every soul and offering your light as a reminder of theirs. This creates sacred reciprocity, because when you give from truth, you awaken truth in others. And what awakens in them returns to you in new, unexpected forms. The more light you give, the more light you hold. So ask yourself gently, how can I serve today? What can I offer that is already within me? How can I show up more fully in my work, my presence, my relationships? Not to be praised, but to bless. You don't need a platform. You don't need a title. You just need a willing heart. Your service might be the way you hold your children, the kindness you extend to a stranger, the grace with which you speak, the prayer you whisper for someone you'll never meet. This is what heals the world. Not grand gestures, but sacred presence. You came here to remember who you are, and in doing so, you give others permission to remember too. So let your I am live not only in you, but through you. Let reach into conversations, into choices, into spaces that need your clarity. Let your life become a quiet revolution, a gentle radiance, a living offering. Chapter 13, the integration of light and shadow. We were taught to seek the light, to chase the sun, to climb ever higher. We were told to be positive, pure, enlightened, to rise above, to transcend. But the soul does not want to rise above life. The soul wants to enter it completely, to know the fullness, to remember the whole, to stand in the center of light and shadow, and say, I am both, and I am sacred still. This is the forgotten truth. Your power is not in your light alone. It is in your integration. To become whole is not to become flawless. It is to become real, to stand with your grief and say, you are part of me. To face your anger and say, I will not exile you anymore. To touch your shame and say, even here, I choose to love. This is not indulgence. It is alchemical courage, because what you avoid will control you from the shadows, but what you embrace will serve you from the center. The parts of you you were told to hide, they are not your weakness. They are your unclaimed power. Your anger, when transmuted, becomes clarity and boundary. Your fear, when seen with love, becomes discernment. Your sadness, when honored, becomes deep empathy. Even your doubt, when met with truth, becomes the foundation for unshakable faith. The light does not erase the shadow. It reveals it. It invites it into healing, not with violence, not with shame, but with presence. And presence is the greatest purifier. Let go of the war within you, the one that says, this part of me is spiritual. This part is not. This version is acceptable. This one must be hidden. You are not here to divide yourself into digestible pieces. You are here to become whole, radiant in your light, rooted in your shadow, alive in your center. This is the integration of the I am. It is not saying, I am love while denying your wounds. It is saying, I am love even when I'm hurting. I am whole even when I feel broken. I am light, and the darkness I carry is not my enemy. You are not two selves. You are not fractured. You are one presence, one field, one breath. And in the sacred work of integration, you become unshakable, because now there is nothing left to hide, no mask to maintain, no illusion to defend. You are free. The greatest power is authenticity. The greatest magnetism is truth. And the most healing presence is one that allows all parts to be seen. You offer that to yourself first, and from that inner welcome, you offer to the world. Let this be your integration prayer. I release the need to be only light. I welcome the parts of me I once rejected. I gather my scattered pieces, and I say to them, come home. You are not becoming something else. You are returning to what you've always been, complete, even in your contradiction. And here is the sacred paradox. The moment you stop resisting your shadow, it stops pulling you back. The moment you stop judging your past, it transforms into wisdom. The moment you stop pretending to be pure, you become truly powerful, because now you are real, and truth, when embodied, moves mountains. So bless the light in you. Yes, let shine, let lead, but also bless the dark. Let root you, let refine you. You are the moon and the sun. You are the fire and the ash. You are the wound and the healer, the seeker and the source. And none of it is in conflict. It is all part of the divine design. You have not failed when your shadow rises. You have simply been invited deeper. Meet it, hold it, ask it, what are you here to teach me? What gift have I buried in you? What truth have I been too afraid to claim? And then listen, without fear, without judgment. And from that listening, a new self will emerge. The integrated soul is not the one who shines brightest. It is the one who walks steadily, with all of themselves intact, no longer chasing light, no longer running from shadow, just being whole, honest, present, free. So today, gather your pieces. Call your name into every corner of your being. I am here. I am whole. I am all of it. And I am sacred still. This is the holy return. This is the fire that heals. This is the I am in its fullest form. Chapter 14. The Neurology of Identity. Your brain is not fixed. It is not rigid. It is not a prison of patterns. It is clay, living, breathing clay. And you are the sculptor. Science has a name for this: neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself in response to what you think, feel, and do repeatedly. And what ancient mystics have intuited for centuries, science now confirms. You become what you consistently affirm. Every time you say, I am, you're not just describing your current state. You're instructing your brain who to become. I am anxious. I am not enough. I am unlovable. These are not passing phrases. They are neurological commands. And your brain, faithful and obedient, begins to rewire around them. The more you repeat them, the more automatic they become. And eventually, they don't feel like beliefs. They feel like truth. But they are not truth. They are repetition. And what has been programmed can be reprogrammed. Let this empower you. Your identity is not a life sentence. It is a script, and you are the author. If you've been affirming the wrong story, you can choose a new one. Try this gently. Say, I am safe. I am worthy. I'm allowed to live a new story. Now say it again, not as performance, but as practice. The first time may feel false, but that is not because it's untrue. It is because your neural pathways have not yet learned the new rhythm. The brain builds through repetition plus emotion. It doesn't care whether something is true. It cares whether it's frequent and emotionally charged. This is why trauma imprints so deeply, because it's intense and repeated. But healing works the same way. You can override the old circuitry by creating new emotional patterns, fired again and again with loving intention. Your I am declarations are not just spiritual, they are biological. Every time you say, I am abundant, and you feel it, Your brain lights up new neural connections. Every time you say, "I am peace," and breathe into it, you weaken the synapses of fear and strengthen the ones of calm. The more often you do it, the easier it becomes, the more natural it feels, and eventually, it becomes your new baseline. Your nervous system relaxes, your thoughts shift, your choices evolve, your reality transforms. But you must practice. Like a musician learns scales, like a dancer trains muscles, like a mystic deepens prayer. Rewiring requires presence and persistence. Not force, but consistency. Create a daily ritual. Say your "I am" declarations aloud. Look in the mirror. Breathe into each one. Visualize the version of you who already lives it. Feel in your chest, in your breath, in your spine. This is identity rehearsal. This is how you become. Even 5 minutes a day can begin to reshape your internal architecture. You're not lying to yourself. You're introducing yourself to a deeper truth that's been buried beneath conditioning. You are reminding your brain, this is who I really am. This is who I choose to be now. Eventually, the words become more than sound. They become signature, a resonance in your voice, in your posture, in your presence. Others begin to feel it, not because you are louder, but because you are anchored. That is the difference between affirmation and embodiment. Affirmation says, "I believe." Embodiment says, "I am." And when you live from that space of neural coherence and spiritual clarity, you begin to notice. You respond instead of react. You speak truth more easily. You make decisions from alignment, not fear. Your mind becomes your ally. Your body becomes your compass. Your energy becomes your yes to the universe. And when the old wiring resurfaces, because it will, you no longer panic. You meet it with compassion. An old thought, "Thank you for showing up, but I no longer live there." And just like that, you reroute, you remember, you realign. You don't need to become someone else. You only need to become familiar with a version of you that already exists within. The brain follows what you repeat with love. So today, make your repetition sacred. Let your "I am" become your inner drumbeat. Let it echo through your nervous system. Let it reshape the way you walk through this world. Because every time you affirm with emotion, you are not just saying words. You are activating new pathways. You are rewiring your reality. You are becoming. Chapter 15, Living from the Future Now. Time, as you've been taught, is not the full picture. It moves forward, yes, in hours, in years, in events. But your soul does not live on a clock. It lives in presence. It breathes in timelessness. It creates from now. This is the sacred paradox. Your future is not a destination. It is a frequency, and that frequency is already accessible. What you call the future you, the healed one, the abundant one, the aligned one, the clear, grounded, radiant, loving version of you, already exists in the quantum field, not as imagination, but as a potential that is fully real, waiting to be chosen. You don't become that version by chasing it. You become that version by matching it, by embodying now, how you would feel, speak, walk, breathe, if you were already living that reality. This is not pretending. This is quantum alignment. You are not faking the future. You are activating it. Ask yourself, how would I move through this moment if I already knew I was supported? How would I treat my body if I already felt whole? How would I speak to others if I already lived in love? How would I breathe if my life was already in harmony? Now, be that. Not tomorrow. Now. This is how timelines collapse. The self you're trying to become cannot arrive in a space you're not yet holding. But the moment you create emotional space for it, by living, breathing, acting, and affirming in alignment, it has no choice but to come forward. Because you are no longer waiting for it. You are welcoming it. I am is your key, your vibrational passport, You're linked to the version of yourself that already knows the way. When you say, I am already her, I am already him, I am already it, you are not lying. You are remembering. You are pulling the future into the now, through the gateway of choice. And here's what makes this real. The body does not know the difference between something vividly imagined with feeling and something physically experienced. This is science. This is biology. When you feel it now, you begin to live from it now. And what you live from, you attract, you build, you become. You are not meant to wait for evidence. You are meant to create from faithful embodiment. And that means becoming the version of you who acts before she sees, who gives before she has, who trusts before she knows. Because she's not hoping, she's aligned. Let this be your daily invitation. Sit with your future self. Ask her what she knows. Ask him how he walks through the world. Ask them what they left behind to step forward. And then listen, and then rise, and then begin. No, you won't always feel like that version yet. And that's okay. But you can choose it anyway, even in small ways. The way you speak to yourself, the way you set boundaries, the way you eat, move, respond. Every micro-alignment is a quantum vote. And soon, the new becomes normal. The future becomes familiar. The I am becomes embodied. You stop asking, when will it come? Because now, you are too busy living it. You stop looking outside for confirmation, because your inner world has become your greatest evidence. You stop waiting for permission, because the I am has already crowned you capable. So today ask not, how do I get there? Ask, how do I live from there now? How do I let my nervous system experience the frequency of what's coming, so it no longer needs to chase it? This is emotional rehearsal, spiritual preparation, embodiment. This is mastery. And when resistance comes, because it will, you meet it with love. I see you, old self. I honor you, but I no longer live in your story. You turn toward your new identity, not as a fantasy, but as a homecoming. Because the future isn't out there. It's within, already written, already resonating, already waiting for your yes. Let your I am today be spoken as if you already know it's real. Because in the quantum, it is. And when you live as though it is done, the field responds. As you believe, so shall be done unto you. Chapter 16, Coherence. The union of thought, word, feeling, and action. Creation is not random. It is not a matter of luck. It is not the result of wishful thinking. It is coherence. It is the mystical and magnetic power that emerges when your thoughts, your words, your feelings, and your actions say the same thing. This is the final key, alignment. True, I am power is not in what you say, but in how deeply all of you agrees with it. You can say, I am abundance, but if your thoughts are rooted in fear, if your body contracts with doubt, if your actions come from desperation, you are not coherent, and the field does not respond to words. It responds to vibration. Coherence is not perfection. It is congruence. It is integrity across all levels of your being. Like a song with all instruments in tune. Like a choir singing in harmony. Like the wind, the flame, and the ocean moving as one. When your inner and outer selves match, you become a living frequency. And frequency always finds resonance. Let's look at each layer. One thought. Your thought is the blueprint. It sets the architecture. It sends a signal forward. You must choose thoughts that are worthy of your future. I'm expanding. I am held. I'm already aligned. These are not just ideas. They are electrical instructions sent into the quantum field. 2. Feeling. Your emotion is the energy in motion. It is the water that carries the seed of thought. It is what tells the body, this is real. To feel is to activate. You cannot fake coherence. The universe feels your emotional signature. So you must feel as if it is already true. Not just hope for it, but dwell in it. 3. Word. The word gives form. It brings the invisible into vibration. But if your words contradict your thoughts and feelings, they lose power. To be coherent is to speak only what you want to live. No more sarcasm against your own becoming. No more jokes that disguise self-harm. No more casual curses on your identity. You become a keeper of your language because you know it is sacred. 4. Action. Action is embodiment. It is the final signal of faith. It says, I believe it so much. I'm willing to move as if it's already true. You don't wait to feel abundant to give generously. You give and confirm the vibration. You don't wait to feel confident to show up. You show up and build the confidence. Aligned action is the echo of your declaration. And when all of these come into harmony, you become coherent. And coherence is the language of miracles. Let's bring this into the body now. Say aloud, slowly, I am whole. I am aligned. I am ready to live from coherence. Now pause. Feel. Notice. Do your thoughts agree? Do your emotions respond with openness? Do your words reflect this in your life? Do your actions reinforce it? If there's a mismatch, beautiful. You've just found your next sacred refinement. Coherence is a practice, a returning, a remembering. When you are incoherent, you feel split. When you are coherent, you feel whole. Incoherence creates resistance. Coherence creates flow. And flow is the path of least resistance. The way life moves when nothing inside you is fighting the truth. This is the gift of the I am journey. It teaches you to listen inward until everything you are moves in the same direction. That is power. That is presence. That is peace. So today, let your I am be more than words. Let it be a living alignment. Think in truth. Feel in trust. Speak in love. Act in integrity. And life will rise to meet you. Not because you forced it, but because you finally matched it. Let this be your prayer. May my inner and outer selves walk as one. May my words speak what my soul believes. May my actions reflect what my spirit knows. May my whole being move as one sacred frequency. I am. Chapter 17. The I am realized. There comes a moment on the path when you no longer need to declare, I am this or I am that, because the words dissolve into knowing. There is no more trying, no more reaching, no more becoming, only being, pure, silent, present, real. This is the realized I am. Not a phrase, not an affirmation, but a state of consciousness. You are no longer searching for the light. You are radiating it. You are no longer speaking about love. You are being love. You are no longer asking to belong. You are home. This is not pride. It is not ego. It is the deep humility that rises when the veil between you and the divine is finally seen for what it was, an illusion, because you were never separate. You were never broken. You were never lost. You only forgot. And now, you remember, not with the mind, but with the whole body, with every breath, with every step, with every cell vibrating. I am, and nothing else is needed. You begin to move through life as presence itself. You speak with fewer words, but more depth. You walk more slowly, but with greater purpose. You desire less, and yet everything flows toward you, because you are no longer attracting from lack. You are simply reflecting the abundance you now embody. You do not need to defend this state. You do not need to explain it. You do not need to prove it to anyone. It is enough to live it, to breathe it, to carry it, in silence, in stillness, in truth. This is the moment when I am becomes your natural state. It no longer begins with intention. It begins with awareness. You do not declare it out loud, because the whole universe hears it in your vibration. The way your presence calms a room, the way your gaze holds without judgment, the way your hands give without fear, the way your silence says more than any word. This is embodied realization, and the world responds differently to you, not because you are above it, but because you are in harmony with it. You are no longer pushing reality. You are partnering with it. You don't chase alignment. You are alignment. You don't pursue purpose. You live purpose. Without effort, without force, only from presence. And when pain comes, because it still will, you do not run. You do not collapse. You do not spiral into identity. You breathe. You stay. You listen. Because now you know. Nothing can take from what you truly are. Not loss. Not change. Not time. You are the awareness behind all experiences. The light that remains untouched. The I am is not what happens to you. It is what endures through it all. And now, you carry this presence into the world. Not as a teacher, not as a savior, but as a mirror. A living example of what is possible. When one soul remembers who they are, and simply abides in it, you begin to bless others without words. You begin to inspire without trying. You begin to create without planning. Your life becomes a transmission. This is the highest service. To live as truth. To walk as love. To be, without apology or effort, a beacon of what is real. Let this be your final remembering. I'm not a title. I'm not a role. I am not a belief. I am awareness. I am presence. I am the light watching itself unfold. And from this space, you need nothing. And yet, everything flows. You hold on to nothing. And yet, everything is given. You seek no longer, because you have found what was always here. Yourself. So now, beloved soul, release the striving. Release the effort. Release the trying to become. And simply rest in what you already are. I am. Pure. Radiant. Eternal. Let the words fall away now. Let the silence rise. Let the presence fill every corner of your breath. This is not the end. This is the beginning of life, as you were always meant to live it. Not from fear, but from frequency. Not from desire, but from devotion. Not from seeking, but from being. If this message touched your heart, if this journey spoke to your soul, share this video with someone who needs to remember who they are. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Every day, we release new content to nourish your spirit, awaken your truth, and remind you of the light you carry. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more presence. It needs more souls who have remembered. I am.